Welcome to Mathematics 9. For today, we'll be talking about graph of quadratic equation. And our objective is graph quadratic equation in a Cartesian coordinate plane. But first, let us define quadratic equation. Quadratic equation is a quadratic function of any equation of the form f of x is equivalent to ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. Always remember, in a quadratic expression or equation, there should always be x squared visible because the highest exponent of a quadratic equation is 2. Therefore, there should be x squared in the expression. And also, x squared is the basic expression to illustrate quadratic equation or quadratic function. In each quadratic equation, it can be illustrated in a graph, and in each graph, we have our basic part. First is we have the vertex. Vertex is the turning point of the graph where the curve occur or the turning point occur. So in our illustration, this is our vertex. And vertex is also defined as the highest or the lowest point of the graph. Next, we have our second part. It is also known as the axis of symmetry. It is a vertical line that passes through the vertex of the parabola or the graph. So in this equation, in this illustration, we have this picture, and the broken line is our axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry is also a line or a broken line that divides the graph into two equal parts. So therefore, that is axis of symmetry. In our previous video, so you can visit the other videos in our description below by clicking it. So in our previous videos, we have part 1 where we encounter the first behavior of the graph, such as given with a as a variable beside, a as a number beside x squared, where sabi doon, if a is a positive number, so its behavior is the graph opens upward. While if a is negative, therefore it opens downward. And also in our illustration, sabi daw po doon in our video, if a is large numbers or if a are big numbers, therefore the behavior of the graph will become narrow, or the graph will become narrow or will be closed in the given axis. Next, if the a is a smaller number, or simply means if a is a decimal value or a fractional value, automatically it will become wide, or the graph will become wide. Yeah. So next, in our previous video also, we described the second behavior of the graph, particularly the involvement of letter k. K is the number that is being added to x squared, just like in this expression, where sabi doon, if k is positive, therefore the movement of our graph will become, or it will move upward. Or sa madaling salita, aangat siya sa original place. Just like in our illustration, from our original graph, x squared, we add +2, so therefore the red graph move upward. And if k is negative, therefore the graph will move downward. So as you observe the color blue graph, it moves downward from the original. So now we will be talking about the last thing or last behavior that can occur in our graph. So let us talk about our third expression or function. Sabi doon, the graph of f of x is equivalent to x minus h squared, where we have the involvement now, letter h. And from that, so ang nangyari doon, we subtract or plus or add numbers to the x itself before we squared. So in this example, we have our number 1 and number 2. We have f of x is equivalent to x minus 3 raised to 2, and we have f of x is equivalent to x plus 3 raised to 2. So therefore, we have these two examples. And later on, we will be identifying the behavior of the graph if there is involvement of letter H. So from here, we are given with our original graph, we have x squared, and we will now illustrate first the function we have x minus 3 squared. So from here, let us just graph this expression by substituting the given to our expression, or solving the given or substituting the value of x to our expression. Let us proceed. We have x is equivalent to -2, where -2 is substituted to x expression. So f of -2 is equivalent to x minus, -2 minus minus 3 squared. F of -2 is equivalent to -2 minus 3 is -5, then squared. And simplifying, f of -2 is equivalent to -5 squared is just 25. So let us just write 25 there. Next, x is equivalent to -1. -1, substituting to our givens, our expression, we have f of -1 is equivalent to -1 minus 3 squared. F of -1 is equivalent to, so -1 minus 3 is -4 squared, or simply f of -1 is equivalent to positive 16. So let us just write there. Next, we have x is equivalent to 0. Substituting 0 to our expression, we have f of 0 is equivalent to 0 minus 3 squared. F of 0 is equivalent to 0 minus 3 is -3 squared. So f of 0 is equivalent to, so -3 squared is just simply 9. Next, we have x is equivalent to 1. Substituting 1 to our expression, we have f of 1 is equivalent to, we have 1 minus 3 squared. F of 1 is equivalent to, so 1 minus 3 is -2, then squared. F of 1 is equivalent to, so -2 squared is just 4. So let us just write 4. Next, we have x is equivalent to positive 2. So from here, we have f of x, or f of 2 is equivalent to, we have 2 minus 3 squared. F of 2 is equivalent to, so 2 minus 3 is, we have -1 squared, or just simply f of 2 is equivalent to 1. Therefore, let us just write 1. Okay. So, okay po ba so far? So, if you want to copy the given, or if you want to copy the entire computation, you can just pause the video and write everything, or you can just simply screenshot. Okay, so now let us identify the coordinates. So we have -2, 25. We have -1, 16. We have 0, 9. We have 1, 4. And lastly, we have 2, 1. So from here, we will be writing it and we will be graphing it in our Cartesian coordinate. So let's proceed. So we have x minus 3 squared. So from here, so what are the coordinates? So we have -2, 25. We have -1, 16. We have 0, 9. We have 1, we have 1, 4, and we have 2, 1. So let us plot this one. So -2, 25. Since our y is limited, so hanggang 10 lang, so let us just extend it. So extend lang natin. And let us assume, kunyari, let us assume that here is our 25. So in your drawing, in your notebook, just continue it, extend it until the 25. For now, so let us just assume that that is 25. So we have -2, 25, so more likely it is located here. Next, so we have -1, 16. So since wala tayong 16, so let us just put 16 there. And let us assume that it is 16. And in your notebook, just extend it until to 16. So let us just plot. So more likely here, tama? And after that, we have 0, 9, so more likely it is located here. We have 1, 4 is located here, and we have 2, 1 is located here. Yeah. So therefore, by connecting it, so I'll just use other color. So let us just use blue. So from here, so I connect lang natin. Yeah. So in terms of this illustration, since our curve is not complete, so more likely let us just assume that let's just make it like that one. Okay. So just let us just extend it like this one. So and create a curve. Yeah. So let us just make a continuation part of the curve. Yeah. So therefore, that is our graph for x minus 3 squared. So what have you observed on the blue graph? So in terms of our original black graph, do you think what is the changes? So in terms of your part, what is your opinion? What happened in our graph after subtracting 3 to x and illustrate that kind of graph? Yeah. So that's good. So as you observe in terms of that, so we have x minus 3 squared, where originally we have x minus h squared, where negative sign is a part of the formula. Tama po ba? Therefore, originally, the h value is positive. Tama po ba? Since yung ating minus sign is just part of the formula, therefore, h is positive value. Therefore, if h is positive value, what happened? So it moves to the, so anong side yan? To the right. So that is our third behavior of the graph. If h is positive, therefore it moves to the right, or it moved to the right, or the graph moved to the right. So nafa-follow po so far? So that is our x minus h, where h is positive. So now let us proceed with our second example. We have x plus 3, then raised to 2. So let us now solve the value of x in terms of here. So let us just solve. So we have x plus 3 raised to 2. So let x is equivalent to negative 2. So let us just solve. So negative 2 substituted in our expression. So f of negative 2 is equivalent to negative 2 plus 3 squared. So f of negative 2 is equivalent to, so negative 2 plus 3 is 1, then squared. So f of negative 2 is equivalent to just 1. Next, x is equivalent to negative 1. X is equivalent to negative 1, so f of negative 1 is equivalent to negative 1 plus 3 squared. F of negative 1 is equivalent to, so negative 1 plus 3 is just 2, then squared. Or f of 1 is equivalent to 4. Next, x is equivalent to 0. F of 0 is equivalent to 0 plus 3 squared. F of 0 is equivalent to 0 plus 3 is 3 squared, or f of 0 is equivalent to 9. So let us just write it down. Next, we have x is equivalent to 1. F of 1 is equivalent to 1 plus 3 squared. F of 1 is equivalent to 1 plus 3 is 4 squared, or just simply f of 1 is equivalent to 4 squared is 16. And lastly, x is equivalent to 2. F of 2 is equivalent to 2 plus 3 squared. Then f of 2 is equivalent to 2 plus 3 is 5 squared, or just simply f of 2 is equivalent to 25. Substituting it, putting it in our table, so we have 25. So therefore, we completed our table of values. So now, let us identify the coordinates. So we have negative 2, 1. We have negative 1, 4. We have 0, 9. We have 1, 16. And we have 2, 25. Let us write there in our graph. So let us just use other pen. So let's have x plus 3 squared. So we have negative 2, comma, anong values natin? Negative 2, comma 1. Negative 2, comma 1. We have negative 1, comma 4. We have, sorry, 0, comma 9. We have 1, comma 16. And we have 2, comma 25. So let us just plot the green color. So plotting, so negative 2, comma 1 is more likely here. Tama? We have negative 1, comma 4 is just like here. And we have 0, comma 9 is just like here. We have 1, comma 16 is here. Sorry, here. And we have 2, comma 25 is just like here. So by plotting, so let us just connect the lines. So we have like that one. So from here, so that is our green color, and let us just continue the curve like that one. So in our green color graph, what have you observed in terms of the graph? So please pause for this video and ask for yourself, what happened in the green color? Okay, so that's good. So from here, we have, in terms of evaluating, if x plus 3 is inside the parentheses, we can just write it as like this one, x minus negative 3 squared. Therefore, in terms of this value, our h is negative. Therefore, if h is negative, it moves to the left. So therefore, that is the behavior of the graph that we need to remember. If h is negative, it moves to the left. And if h is positive, it moves to the right. So that's it. So yun lang po. So thank you very much for listening for today. And please watch the other videos relating quadratic equation.